For this last problem, there are two ways to work it, and I want to work it both ways, and then I have another one for you to try over here like this last. I'm first going to work it like an algebra equation. So one winter night, the temperature fell 10 degrees. I'm going to try to color code it. Fell 10 degrees, kind of in math terms, I think about something falling 10 degrees. If that would be adding, multiplying, dividing, or subtracting, that would be subtracting. So the temperature fell 10 degrees. Between midnight and 6 a.m. That's not important. That's not going to help me. By 10 a.m., the temperature had doubled. So doubling is multiplying by 2. So I don't know what this is, that whole thing, but I've got to multiply the whole thing by 2. So I've done that. By noon, it had risen 5 degrees. Risen is adding. And that's when it's equal to 41 degrees. So I set up that algebra equation, and now I'm going to use my algebra skills to solve that. So I'm going to distribute and get 2x minus 20. I'm not distributing to the 5 because it's not in the parentheses. I only to distribute to the terms in the parentheses. Like terms are on the same side, so I do exactly what they say. They're on the same side, so I keep it the same. Negative 20 plus 5 is negative 15. Now I can start moving numbers over. When I move to the opposite side, that's when I do that inverse or the opposite operation. So that's why I'm adding. And we've seen that dividing by 2 when we did the Gauss. So I get 28 degrees. So that's one way. The other way to do it is, like I said before, is to work it backwards. So I'm going to come over here to the side. Working backwards means I'm going to kind of go all the way in my directions backwards. So I'm going to start with 41 degrees, and I'm going to do the opposite of what it says. I'm undoing everything. It's like I'm taking it and rewinding it, going in reverse. So it said it had risen. I'll try to color code this one too. It had risen 5 degrees. I'm going to do the opposite of that because I'm starting at backwards order. So I'm going to subtract 5 from that to get 36. Let's see. Then it had doubled. So I'm going to do the opposite of doubling. So that means I'm going to divide by 2 to get 18. And then I had fell 10 degrees. I'm going to do the opposite of fell. So I'm going to add to get 28 degrees. So that way is probably faster, to be honest. Either way, I'm fine with. So I've got one for you to try here. You can try either method that you want to. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the answer so you know if you got it right, and then I'm going to go through it. But we should get 60 degrees on this. Either method you want. Go ahead, hit pause, and give that one a shot. Usually I've got a class about half and half, so I'll work it both ways. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll start with the algebra way since that's what I started with last time. So one summer night, we're going to start with our temperature. That's X. It fell 20 degrees, so I'm going to subtract 20. And then it doubled, so I'm going to multiply that by 2. And then it rose 10 more degrees to be 90 degrees. A little bit of algebra skills. I'm going to distribute the 2, again, just to those first 2 terms, not to the 10 because it's not in the parentheses. Like terms are on the same side, so you keep them the same. The 30 and the 90 are on opposite sides, so I do the opposite of negative 30. To get 60 degrees. If you think about working backwards, we're going to start with that 90. I'm going to do the opposite of risen. So I'm going to subtract 10 to get 80. Then I'm going to do the opposite of doubled. So I'm going to divide. Sorry, my pen stopped working. I don't know why, but if I click into something else, that'll make my pen start working usually again. So I'm going to try something else and then back into it. Yep, so I was dividing by 2 to give me 40. And then all the way to the opposite of fell, 20 degrees. So the opposite of fell is to add. So I get 60 degrees.